Hello everybody, my name is Local Villain, and welcome back to the MU Dive, where I tackle the MU Essentials list in no particular order except for what the wheel decides. And welcome to 2024, where I'm back after a 3 or 4 month stint of not uploading at all, except for a couple weeks ago when I did that Faye Webster video. But I haven't done an MU Dive video in 3 or 4 months. The Faye Webster video was just something I wanted to make to just show you all that I am alive, and I want to make content. I'm just lazy. So 2024, one of my New Year's resolutions is to upload at least twice a week 2 reviews or more. That's the goal. So hopefully you'll be getting a lot more of these. Maybe not on consistent days, but at least 2 a week. So yeah, look forward to that. But welcome back to the MU Dive, where, as I said, I tackle the MU Essentials list, and today I'm going to be talking about R.E.M's Murmur. Very interesting album. Let's get right into it. Starting off the album with plucky, toe-tapping guitars and simple riffs is a great way for me to get hooked on a record. I grew up with soft rock and alternative rock, where the riffs were very simple and ear-catching, and I was already very much hooked from the beginning. Michael Stipe, who is the vocal lead of R.E.M., gives this very earnest and casual vocal performance to where it sounds kind of goofy in a way. If you've heard of R.E.M. and you've heard some of their music, you might think the vocalist sounds a bit wacky, a bit cartoonish. I like that. It's my cup of tea, but I can kind of see why it may push people off. But for me, I very much enjoyed it. The instrumentation doesn't do anything crazy or complex, and in fact, the whole record isn't really complex to begin with. On the instrumentation side, we will get to the lyrics soon, because I have a lot to say about them. But instrumentally, this record doesn't do anything crazy or complex. It is just simple tunes that will get you bouncing, will get you maybe dancing a little bit. They're meant to get stuck in your brain. I also feel the vocal performance lacked a lot of emotion. As I said, it was earnest, but it's also very monotone and doesn't change a whole lot. But man, does the instrumentation weave these very intricate soundscapes where I feel the vocals lack. That's not even a bad critique. I think it's a good thing when you have a nice dichotomy. Because if the vocals were going ham and the instrumentation was going ham, I would feel a little overwhelmed. And there's some artists who can definitely balance both of those. I mean, Bjork, she's hanging up there right now, gives a great example of her giving amazing performances, but also having amazing production in the background. And I would love to talk about Bjork on this channel sometime, but this isn't a video. But that is an example of somebody who can have both sides of the spectrum go crazy. But for this record, it feels like the vocal side is very stinted and the instrumentation side is very cranked up. It feels like everything's firing on all cylinders, and not in like the death metal way, but in the creativity department. My favorite example of the instrumentation just doing something completely different is on Moral Kiosk. The guitars go, I instantly was like, ooh, okay, we're doing something different here. But then again, Michael is just doing the same performance throughout the entire record, which I say is not an issue, but I kind of wish he maybe tried some different things. He's a great narrator. Let's get that straight. I think with what the album is trying to say, which I honestly don't know what it's trying to say, he is a great narrator, and I think if he was speaking in more simple terms, he would tell wonderful stories. Even the stories that they did tell on this record, Michael seems like a great person to be the voice for it. That being said, the album is very samey in sound. There are a couple of exceptions, which I will put in the descriptions with my favorite songs, but nothing really changes on the spectrum of what this album is capable of. But the thing is that it stays in its lane, and it's really good at it. And a lot of the songs have stayed in the back of my head repeatedly throughout the day. I think Radio Free Europe is a great example. That song maybe has a little bit of bias because it's the first song and I've listened to it the most, but that's stuck in my head a lot, and that's good. I like music that gets stuck in my head. It shows that it has staying power. Speaking of staying power, or should I say the lack of staying power, let's talk about the very cryptic lyrics. I found a pop filter for my mic, so that's why this is now on there. So hopefully I sound better. But continuing the review. One thing I must bring up is my way of interpreting lyrics on records. I know a lot of people will sit there and read the Genius page, or will look into what these lyrics mean from the artist's perspective, or from what other news outlets say. But for me personally, and how I like to review things, is I like to read the lyrics and interpret them in my own way. I think that's the most fun when it comes to reviewing music, is finding your own interpretations for things. And I'm already running into a problem with this method, with this record. Because, if I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what the fuck's going on. I have looked at these lyrics probably 4 or 5 times over. I have no idea what's going on. And I think it's cool in a weird way. The lyrics are a nice juxtaposition to the very simple instrumentation and auditory performance, right? What you hear is simple, but what you interpret is very difficult and very complex. I still refuse to really look up any Genius pages, and that could be a fault of me as a reviewer, and you might think, oh dude, villain, you're missing out on all this great interpretation and lore of R.E.M. I don't care. I don't give a shit. That's how I review things. This is my channel. This is how I'm going to review things. And I like reviewing it like this. I like doing my own interpretations. It makes my reviews feel special. It goes, oh, Villain thinks of it like this. It could be way off base. But I don't care. Because it's my review. Especially when I start getting the Mitski. Because she has explanations everywhere. But that was at the behest of my girlfriend. The lyrics are something else. I enjoy it though. I like how cryptic they are. They, give my head a nice little spin, nice little workout, but nothing to scoff at. I think with all of that being said, this record is a pretty plain and simple 6 out of 10. I think this might be my lowest reviewed record on this channel, which brings me to a point I want to bring up. In 2024, I have a bit more of a strict grading scale when it comes to my reviews. Not that, the 10 will be rare like Fantano, because every once in a while I'll just like an album so much that I want to give it a 10, just for the simple fact that I think it deserves it, even if critically, in my mind, I don't think it's a 10. If I personally believe it deserves to be a 10, it should stay a 10. Which means all my previous records that I reviewed are still canon. I'm not changing anything. My 10s are my 10s, and my scores are my scores. But going forward, it's going to be a bit more difficult to get a higher score on my channel. But then again, I'm not a hater when it comes to music. I very much love finding things to like in everything. But yeah, 6 out of 10. Let us go ahead and spin the wheel to see what the next album is on the MU Dive. Let's go. Just want to do a quick shout out to RuneScape for being the GOAT when it comes to listening to music and keeping my brain occupied, because I cannot just solely listen to an album and sit there and go, like that one Benedict Cumberbatch meme. Just like focus. I can't do that. RuneScape, you're the best, and I can't wait to review more music while grinding out that shit. But pausing time to put the wheel on screen now, Zuardo! Fugazi's Repeater is our next record to review on the MU Dive. I am so excited. I am a huge Fugazi fan. In fact, I have 13 songs on record. I'll probably show it off next review. But yes, with that is the end of the review. I hope to have a very bountiful and busy 2024 reviewing music. If you love it, please share it with your friends. If you hate it, please shoot me in the face. Not really. With all that being said, I love you all. Local Villain out. Peace.